Alright, this is section 2.3.3, solving absolute value inequalities. As always, if you are confused or you missed something or you're falling behind, pause the video, rewind it, play it back as many times as you need to. Don't feel like you have to keep up with me if you think I'm going too fast. Otherwise, let's go ahead and jump right into this. Alright, the learning target is going to be solving absolute value inequalities. Okay, we've talked about solving absolute value equations, so we're going to take a look at the other end of this and then graph the solution set on a number line, which we've done multiple times. Okay, so since we've done absolute value equations, we're going to use this to relate back to and help us when solving inequalities. So if you recall, when we were solving absolute value equations, our goal was to get the absolute value of the bars by themselves, and then once we did that, we would take the interior, set one equal to the same value and the other equal to its opposite. So absolute value, these are a little funky because we would take what was inside, make x minus 3 equals 5, and then since absolute value, we had to consider, okay, what if this were positive, what if it were negative? We would have to take the negative side of it and make two different equations. Okay, so then once we did that, split it up, we could solve, just as we would normally do. And then we would get two answers. Okay, solving absolute value inequalities is sort of a blend of the equations, and then it's a blend of basic inequalities. Okay, so as with anything, we're going to follow some general procedures, and they're going to look like so. Alright, first thing we need to focus on is isolating the absolute value bars. This is the same premise as when we were solving equations. Get those absolute value bars by themselves. Okay, that's your number one goal. Once you do that, this is the funky part, okay? Step number 2 is going to be the funky part. Split into two different inequalities. We saw above, we split this guy into positive 5 and negative 5, okay? Positive 5, negative 5. A similar thing is going to happen. Okay, so we're going to take the inequalities, we're going to keep one of them the same. So same idea as we did up there. The other, we're going to change the sign of the number, so that's still the same. However, since we're doing inequalities, we have to change the sign, and since we're technically dividing by a -1, we have to flip the inequality sign. Okay, so not only are we changing the sign to negative, we're going to flip the inequality and then go from there. Just as with equations, you're going to get two inequalities, and we're going to solve each one individually, and that's your last step. Solve and graph the solution on a number line. Step number 3, we've done this multiple times. Regardless of what it looks like, that's going to be your last step every single time. So let's see what all this looks like and what this means. So before we jump into more difficult problems, let's take a look at these, or this single example. The absolute value is by itself already. Okay, that's going to be one of the easier parts. The tricky piece is going to be step number 2. Split into two different inequalities, keep one the same. So this guy is going to look like this. If we split this into 2 and we keep one of them as is, that's what that would look like. The other one, change the sign of the number and flip the inequality sign. So the other one's going to look like so. Flip the inequality sign, change the sign of the number. So now we have x minus 3 is greater than or equal to 5. X minus 3 is less than or equal to -5. Okay, that's the biggest trick to solving these. Okay, so if you're good with this, then you're going to be just fine. Once you do that, it's just a regular inequality. Solve it just like we normally would. Get x by itself. Okay, we get x is greater than or equal to 8. X is less than or equal to -2. When we go to graph this, we just talked about compound inequalities, where you had an and inequality you shaded between two regions, and an or inequality you shaded in the opposite direction. The downside to absolute value is there's no one way to do the graphing. You sort of just have to take it each problem individually and just go from there. So when you do go to graph these, so say for instance we're going to do x is greater than or equal to 8, greater than or equal to, solid dot, greater than, we're going to go to the right. If we just shade just the beginning portion just to understand what's going to happen, and we're not going to shade the entire number line and sort of mess up the number line, let's do x is less than or equal to -2. If we just start the both of these, we can see what's going to happen. This is going to continue this way. The -2 is going to continue to the left. And we're going to shade in the opposite directions, which is what an OR inequality looks like. We are going to see examples where it'll shade in between two numbers, okay? Like I said, you just have to go each one piece by piece and just take it as it comes, okay? Alright, let's jump right into this. So, first one, absolute value of -6x is -5 is greater than 7. As always, your first step, get these absolute value bars by themselves. So this 5, we want to get that guy out of the way. Okay. Once we do that, split it up. We're going to keep one of them the same, okay, as if the absolute value were not there. The other one, we're going to flip the sign and then change the sign of the number itself, okay? So, same, reverse the sign, change the value, and once we do that, we're good to go. So -6x is greater than 12, divided by -6. The same rules apply as with every inequality. If you're going to divide by a negative, you still have to flip the sign. So even though we're doing absolute value inequalities, that doesn't go away. Okay, so this needs to be flipped since we divided by the -6. The same thing's going to happen over here. Divide by -6, flip this guy back around, and we get the following. X is less than -2, greater than 2, and it's finished. Okay, so like I said, the tricky part, when you split it up, don't split it up until the absolute value is by itself, and then let's graph each one of these individually. So, -2, less than -2 gets an open circle, less than is going to be to the left, x is greater than 2, open circle, greater than to the right. As you shade the beginning portions, you can see what's going to happen. We're going to continue these guys to the right and to the left. Okay. The values of 2 and -2 are not going to be part of your solution since there's open circles. Everything in the middle between them is also not part of your solution. Everything to the right and the left will be. Okay. And that guy's finished. Alright, let's keep it moving. 10 times absolute value of 9x is less than or equal to 90. This 10 is being multiplied, so to undo it, we have to divide. So let's do that. Okay, we end up with absolute value of 9x is less than or equal to 9. The bars are by themselves, so that means I can split it. Don't get ahead of yourself and try to combine steps and then end up confusing yourself. Okay, just take it one at a time. Try to minimize the mistakes and keep it going. This guy over here, flip your sign around, change the sign of the value. Okay, once we do that, we're ready to solve. Divide by 9. Okay, less than or equal to 1. Divide by 9. Greater than or equal to -1. And let's plot them. So at 1, less than or equal to, it's going to get a solid dot. I'm just going to start the shading so I can wait for this other one, greater than or equal to -1, greater than or equal to, get that, and I'm going to go greater than. So that's why we wait to shade the whole number line to see what happens. Okay, so as you can see, this one is between -1 and 1. So this looks like an AND inequality versus this guy over here looking like an OR inequality. So it's sort of a case-by-case basis. You just have to see what happens and then go from there. Okay, so if you're a little confused on those, please play this back. Otherwise, we're going to keep moving. Okay, the next set. 3 plus 6 times the absolute value of x plus 2 is less than 27. Once again, your goal is to get these absolute values by themselves. So that means Get this 3 out of the way first. Okay. We are left with 6 times the absolute value of x plus 2 is less than 24. Similar to the last one, the 6 needs to be taken off. It's being multiplied so we can divide. Okay, we get the absolute value of x plus 2 is less than 4. The absolute value bars are by themselves. Once we get that, we're good. Split it up. One with the same. Oops. Okay, we have one with the same values. And then the other, we have x plus 2. We're going to flip the sign and then change it on the value. Once we do that, we're good to go. Subtract. Subtract. Okay, we have less than 2, greater than negative 6, less than 2, open circle. Less than would be starting this way, greater than negative 6, open circle, greater than. Okay, once again, you can see what's going to happen. These two are going to join, so everything in between 2 and negative 6, but not including the values, is part of your solution, and that guy's finished. All right, let's keep it moving. 6 times the absolute value of 2x plus 2. Same idea. Get the bars by themselves. Let's get that 2 out of the way first. Okay, once we do that, let's get this 6 off. Okay, we get the absolute value of 2x is less than 16. Bars are by themselves. Split it up. Keep one the same. The other, let's flip the sign around, change the sign of the number, and continue to solve. Okay, x is less than 8. X is greater than negative 8. And once again, plot this bad boy. Less than, it's going to go to the left. Greater than negative 8. It's going to go to the right. These guys are going to join in the middle. There we go. There's our solution. All right. If you want to, you can pause it right now. Try E and F on your own. See what you can do individually. And then come back and see if you got them right, okay? Alright, last two here. Once again, get these absolute value bars by themselves. I sound like a broken record, but I'm going to continue to say it. Let's get this 10 out of the way. We get 1 plus 2x, absolute value, and greater than 1. Alright, once the bars are by themselves, split this guy up. 1 plus 2x is greater than 1. 1 plus 2x is, flip the sign, less than, change the sign of the value, less than negative 1. Once we do that, we're good to go. Let's subtract. We get 0, divide, greater than 0. Over here, same procedures, just different numbers. Okay, we get less than negative 2, divide, less than negative 1. So we have greater than 0, open circle, greater than, less than negative 1, open circle, real close. Alright, so as you can see, these are going to go in the opposite directions. So there we go. So everything between 0 and negative 1, including those values, doesn't work. Everything to the right and to the left will. And the last one. That's the value of 4x plus 8 minus 10 is greater than or equal to 2. Get this 10 out of the way. Get those bars by themselves. Okay, we get greater than or equal to 12. Once again, set it equal to the same. And do the other one to the opposite and change the sign. Alright, 4x plus 8. Let's subtract this 8. We get 4x is greater than or equal to 4. Divide. And that guy's done. Okay, over here, subtract 8 again. We're just going to get a different value on the other side. We get a negative 20 divided by 4. Okay, and we get less than or equal to negative 5. So plot this guy. Greater than or equal to 1, solid dot. Greater than, it's going to go to the right. Less than or equal to negative 5, solid dot again. Less than is going to go that way. So this is also going to go in the opposite directions, just like the last one. And there we go. That guy's finished. So, if you've gotten to this point and you are still a little confused or you missed something, please rewind it back. Play it as many times as you need to. If you are still confused after that, please come see me if you have any other questions. Otherwise, if you're comfortable with the material, please try number 1 and 2 at the bottom of the page. Show your work on a separate sheet, and please use the number lines at the bottom to plot your solutions. Other than that, good luck, and I will see you tomorrow.